Well, YouTube, it's been a while since the last vinyl update, and since I've gotten quite a few new records since then, figured I'd go through them for you. So first we have In the Quietest Moments by Supertramp. I really like this record, especially Give a Little Bit. That's pretty much the entire reason I bought this album. But I'd been wanting some Supertramp for a while, so I figured I'd get this one. And the next one here, Breakfast in America. This one still has shrink wrap on it. This one I think is a better record than even In the Quietest Moments, but Give a Little Bit is one of my favorite songs ever, so I just wanted to have both. Start a little bit of Supertramp in the collection. Now we have the reissue, another Fu Manchu reissue. This time it's of the album Godzilla's Eaten Dust, compilation of 2 EPs. They got some nice photos here in the jacket, and this one is pressed on this gorgeous, no, I'm not handling the vinyl real well, sea green marble vinyl. Oh, well, you can see that. But I really like the color on there. One of my favorite Fu Manchu albums, the first one that I really got into, so I wanted to have the reissue. Here we have Psycho Candy, the debut album by the Jesus and Mary Chain. I'd been after this one for a while, discovered this album, I think sophomore year of high school, and I fell in love with it because it's just so noisy, yet melodic and almost popish at the same time. I don't know, it was just a really cool fusion to me, and it's been one of my favorites over the years. Glad to have it on vinyl. Also glad to have this on vinyl. Oh, I always forget. Funhouse by the Stooges, their second album. I have searched endlessly for original pressings of the Stooges' first 3 albums. Their self-titled one, this one, and Raw Power. And they are so hard to find, I can't even believe it. This is the only, I'm almost 100% positive this is an original copy, and this is literally the only one I've come across in about 3 years of looking at different record stores around the area. I like the debut better, but this one is definitely in a close second. Big Stooges fan, and it was nice to finally find this. Sorry, guys. Here we have Fire and Water by Free. This one has, Fire and Water, All Right Now, Mr. Big, classic Free tunes. As a guitar player, Paul is a big influence. I really like his style, especially his vibrato, very skilled guitar player. And this is a cool album. We got Van Halen, the first one. Never had any Van Halen on vinyl until I bought this album, and I decided, I really need some Van Halen in the collection. And I've always liked 70s Van Halen over, David Lee Roth era Van Halen, rather, over Hagar era Van Halen. So I figured, why not start with the debut? Found it for a good price. This one, probably tied along with Fair Warning, my favorite Van Halen albums. Here we have Asia by Steely Dan. Really didn't have too much jazz or jazzy rock in the collection, and this is a really good album. I like this album. I like Steely Dan, so I wanted to get this. I'd been looking for a good copy for a while, and I finally found one and bought it. Great album. Great, chill, laid-back album. Here we have, I think all of these records were bought on Record Store Day a few weeks ago. This is More Greatest Hits of the Monkees. I wanted to start buying their studio albums, like their first album, and then more of the Monkees, Headquarters, stuff like that. But they're pretty expensive from what I've found, especially the first album. And I saw that this album had most of the other songs that I was really into by them, so I figured I'd just buy this. But it's got Valerie and Mary Mary, Words, For Pete's Sake, some really great songs in addition to what I already had on the other Greatest Hits album. Here's The Police's debut. I have Synchronicity, but I always meant to get some more Police, and I finally found their debut in pretty good condition for a pretty good price. And I really, really like it. I never listened to the whole thing through until I gave this thing a spin for the first time, and it's really great. Some very great new wave. And you know, for people who only know them as Every Breath You Take, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, this album really shows what they were like at the beginning, when they had that sort of almost punk new wave sound to them. Here's the Yardbirds Greatest Hits. Over the past few months, I've been really getting into the Yardbirds. I don't know what really triggered it, but I've just started getting into them in a pretty big way. And, you know, this has the best ones: Smokestack Lightning, Heart Full of Soul, Shapes of Things. There's some songs on here that aren't on here that I wish were, but, I mean, Yardbirds records are expensive, and I face a similar problem that I face with, like, the Rolling Stones, in that I can't keep the releases straight. I don't know what has the same material as some other album. It's just confusing to me. So I figured I'll just buy the Greatest Hits. But it has, you know, having a Rave Up and stuff like that. Still looking for those albums. They're just pricey. Here's a great album, The Intermounting Flame by the Mahavishnu Orchestra, a quote-unquote jazz record. I remember in high school, in jazz band, we had to listen to jazz albums every once in a while. And all the rhythm section people, including myself, went for this album because it's like prog, like progressive rock almost, but there is a jazz edge to it. You know, there's like dueling violin and guitar. This is just a real... It's a music lover's album. It doesn't have words. The songs are pretty long. It's just for people who like virtuosos playing together. It's like a jazz supergroup almost. You know, you got McLaughlin, however you say his name, on guitar, and Billy Cobham on drums. This is just a great album. Blows me away every time I listen to it. Here's one I did not expect to find in Hearing of Atomic Rooster. I'm still looking out for Death Walks Behind You. I found a copy the first time I went record shopping, and I should have bought it, because I have never found another one since then. But this is probably my second favorite Atomic Rooster album. I mean, based upon what I've heard off of it. I haven't heard the whole album, but I've heard most of what's on here. And it's pretty good. They still had John Ducan in the band, and this was the last album, I believe, with the Death Walks Behind You lineup. They just added Peter French on vocals. The cover's pretty messed up, but you never see these, so I couldn't pass it up. Here's Machine Head. I think I have one Deep Purple album, and it's besides this, and it's a Greatest Hits. So I really wanted to get some Deep Purple. I want to get in rock still, but you know, why not start with Machine Head? Good album, not my favorite, but this is in good condition. Fun listen. Here we have Grand Funk live album. Grand Funk is another band that I really, really want to get into because I always hear about how great they are. And from what I've heard of them, I think they're really good too. I was going to get... I can't remember what the album with the red cover is called, but I was going to buy that album in addition to this, but the other one was pretty beat up. So I'm happy to have this album. It'll be nice to give it a spin. I haven't been able to listen to most of these yet because I just got home from school not that long ago. So now I'm catching up on what I've missed while I was away. Here's Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. Again, no AC/DC prior to this in the collection. Not a big fan of Brian Johnson era AC/DC. I like a couple of the songs with him, but I really like Bon Scott AC/DC. That's where it's at. So I'm glad to have this. Hopefully I'll be getting High Voltage and some other ones pretty soon. This album is one I didn't really expect to find. It's by a group called Elephant's Memory. They're a Buddha Records band, and as it turns out, this was John Lennon and Yoko Ono's backing band for a certain period of time. I don't really know when. I don't really know the full story with this band, but I know it's a more obscure record. And I saw it sitting behind the counter at my local record store, and I said, hey, how much do you want for that? Simply because I knew it was kind of obscure. Haven't gotten a chance to listen to it yet, but we'll see what it sounds like. Definitely an interesting cover. And we got Van Halen 2. Probably second favorite Van Halen album. I really like... This one just has a party sound to it. I don't know. Like, you could see it being played at a house party in the 70s, 80s. I like this album. It's a good album. Beautiful Girls is one of my favorite Van Halen songs. I'm just trying to fill up the Van Halen collection. And here we got Women and Children First. Don't know a whole lot off of this album. I know Everybody Wants Some and The Cradle Will Rock. Everybody Wants Some is also one of my favorite Van Halen songs. And just wanted to have this because, like I said, I'm trying to get more Van Halen. So now I've got the first 3 albums. That's a pretty darn good start. So like I said, I haven't really gotten to listen to too many of these yet. Not the Record Store Days ones, day ones. But I'm excited to give them all a spin. And I'm still searching, always searching for more records. I've got a few in mind that I want to look for next time I go shopping. So hopefully I'll have some more records to show you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.